You want healthy, glowing skin, but with all the products, trends, and conflicting advice, it's hard to know what actually works. I understand. I am Dr. Tina Meder, a former cardiologist and specialist in the skincare development and cosmetic safety expert. I've spent years studying the science of skin. Welcome to Meder Beauty podcast, where we uncover what really matters, break down the science, and give you real expert-backed skincare advice. Whether you're looking to achieve radiant, healthy skin, curious about anti-aging, or want to understand what's really in your product, you are in the right place. Rooted in science and the truth about what your skin actually needs, we'll have in-depth conversations with leading dermatologists, medical experts, and skincare brand founders to bring you the latest innovations, evidence-based insights, and industry secrets that truly make a difference. We are so happy you are here. So let's go. Welcome to the Skin We Live In podcast. And today I want to talk about something that sounds like a science fiction or some kind of Netflix movie, but it is very real in your skin. Cellular senescence or the zombie apocalypse. So let's see how we can take care of the zombie apocalypse in your skin, how we can prevent it, and what happens in your skin when your cells are zombified, how we can manage it. Does it make sense to stimulate your zombie cells, or you should use some other strategy? And finally, what are active ingredients and what is the magic anti-zombie food? So let's try to discuss everything of it, and I will be happy if you leave your questions and comments after you are listening to the podcast or watching the video. So what are senescent cells? They are not dead, but they are not truly alive and useful either. They stop dividing, and initially it is a protective mechanism because when the cell is old, when it's become non-functional or just making a lot of mistakes physiologically, it's better to stop it. But the problem is that not every of all cells which stop to divide could be able to live. Some of them, they're stubborn. They refuse to live, and they start to secrete these inflammation molecules and small toxins and molecules which can damage the tissues all around them. And most importantly, they can be contagious to our cells, and they can accelerate the aging of perfectly young and functional cells around them. And what does it mean? More of collagen breakdown, thinner skin, wrinkles formation, dark spots, and all visible signs of skin aging, and especially the loss of the skin elasticity and resilience. So let's define the senescence. Cellular senescence, it is a state when cells exit the cell cycle. What is the cell cycle? Cell is born, cell functions, cell divides, but at some point it loses the ability to perform properly and it loses the ability to divide. But this non-dividing cell still stays metabolically active, still eats, and still spreads toxins around it, and it resists dying. It often happens in the response of some serious stress. For example, it can be DNA damage. It can be shortened telomeres because, as you probably remember if you listen to the episode about hallmarks of aging and biological age and biohacking, I have different episodes when I've been speaking about telomeres. You probably remember that the protective plastic shoelaces caps which are protecting chromosomes and controlling the dividing and shortening the telomeres. When they are too short, it means that the cells cannot divide anymore. So this telomere attrition, it's one of the primary hallmarks of aging and one of the very variable signs of aging. So this telomere attrition, it is one of the main causes why the cell is going to the senescence. Also, it can be activation of some cancer genes which can be sleeping in our cells until the same point, and after when it's activated, it transforms the cell to the cancers, but the protective mechanism of our body can stop it and can forbid the cells to divide, but it stays senescent, it stays non-alive, non-death, refusing to be eliminated from the extracellular space. And also it can be oxidative stress, it can be chronic inflammation. So there are a lot of factors contributing to the cell senescence, and some of them, they are unavoidable, like telomere attrition. It is just an age, because with time our telomeres are shortening, and some of them, they are avoidable, like oxidation or inflammation or DNA damage by the ultraviolet. So speaking about senescent cells in my favorite hotel metaphors, so when we're speaking about the skin agent management, as we speak about the management of the luxury hotel, senescent cells, they are staff members who've been officially retired. We respect the works which we did for many years. They've been very useful. They've been absolutely amazing team members. But at some point, they are just too old. So they retired for everyone's safety. And at first, this is good. Better than letting someone with shaking hands run the boiler room or the electricity room. But they stay in the building. They refuse to leave the building. They hang around the lobby. They gossip in the corridors. They take a lot of time and energy from other staff members. They complain loudly. They are rude to the guests of your hotel. So literally, they are poisoning the atmosphere for everyone else. And they make your hotel unlivable. They make your guests unhappy, and it makes it unmanageable. So biologically, senescent cells, they are stopped dividing irreversibly. It is impossible to come back to the point when they could do it. They change their metabolism. Their genes expression is changed too, so they are epigenetic, age-related, irreversible changes. They start secret their inflammatory cocktails of cytokines, which are inflammation mediators, enzymes destroying proteins, destroying polysaccharides like ionic acid, some negative growth factors, and other toxic and damaging molecules. Altogether, we call it senescent-associated secretory phenotype, or SASP, as you can see in the published articles of latest years. And SASP is literally the zombie noise, the signals which can damage tissue structure and spread the senescence to the neighbors. Actually, I love this metaphor about zombie, because it's like the living humans transform to the zombie and just forget how good they've been in the pre-zombie existence. They're just walking all around, they're destroying everything, and they're leaking like some unpleasant liquids from their body, intoxicating everything around them. And once you touch zombie, or zombie touch or bites you, you're transformed to the zombie. That's what happens in the neighborhood of these cells. So they spread this inflammation, they spread low-grade inflammation, they spread intoxication all around them. Senescence starts as an anti-cancer program. The whole idea was to kill cancerous cells and just eliminate it from the body. But something went wrong, and the cells is not killed properly. So it stays as a zombie cells. It's not dividing, so it's still not a cancer, but it accelerates the aging process, and it makes your skin much more vulnerable. So they become a new problem. Maybe slightly better than cancer, but still serious. What does senescence do to specific skin cells? We have 9 types of skin cells operating into the skin. The most important one for us, there are fibroblasts, cells of dermis, cells producing collagen, elastin, hyaluronic acid, and so on. Another type, the keratinocytes, they are cells of the superficial skin layer of the epidermis. They are responsible for the skin renewal, for the barrier, for the altogether skin protection, and they are very much involved into the life of the microbiome. And finally, melanocytes, pigment cells. They are very important because they play for many teams. They are playing for skin teams, protecting our skin, so security agents in our skin hotel, but in the same time they are playing to nervous system team, so they are involved in the communication and even in the PR of the hotel. But also they are anti-inflammatory and they help to protect us from the oxidative stress as well. So what happens with fibroblasts? Fibroblasts, they are architects and builders of our skin hotel. They are responsible for building walls, for repairing and restoring everything, but also they're designers. They are responsible for the furniture. They are fibroblasts who create walls, but also sofas and chairs and big, beautiful tables. And in our young age, everything looked freshly designed, very harmonious, very strong, but when we become older, our fibroblasts, they become weaker, so our walls are cracked and our sofa is a little bit squeaking and chairs are not so stable anymore, and so on. They are building the dermis, producing collagen, elastin, other proteins, and hyaluronic acid, many other of matrix components. But in the same time, they are not only producing everything, they are also eliminating and destroying the old stuff. So fibroblasts, they, with other hand, they are producing enzymes, metalloproteinases, like collagenase, destroying collagen, elastase, destroying old elastin, hyaluronidase, destroying old hyaluronic acid, and so on. So their role is builder and the smart cleaner. But when they are zombified, when they are infected with the zombie senescence infection, the SASP phenotype and inflammatory cytokines make them act as destroyers. So from the builders, they completely change the role. They are starting to produce more and more of enzymes and less of collagen and elastin and hyaluronic acid, so they mostly damage matrix. They make dermis thinner. They change the structure. It's become uneven and the skin become vulnerable. It loses the elasticity, it loses the tightness, and it became much less resilient. So instead of repairing the wall, our fibroblasts, they sit in their office and send out just toxic instruction to everyone and just ordering some destruction of the wall. And more of them you have, the faster your dermis walls will weaken and sag. So more of senescent fibroblasts are operating on your skin, weaker your skin will be. Other types of the cells, the keratinocytes, they are responsible for barrier. And keratinocytes, they live in the superficial layer in the skin, in the epidermis. So your barrier and the interface, they acting and protect you from the outside world. But with an age, chronic stress, keratinocytes, they are even more exposed to the hostile environment than fibroblasts because they are located more superficially. They become senescent and they show these classic markers, right? They are aggressive, they are inflammation, they are gossiping, they are destroying, and they develop their own SASP profile, including inflammation, cytokines, enzymes destroying barrier, so they disturb the homeostasis of the barrier, but also they're signaling to the dermis. So they're not limiting themselves just by destroying their own area. They are looking for lies. They are communicating with the senescent fibroblasts, and they can be contagious even through this membrane to this barrier between epidermis and dermis. So, recent work suggests that this SASP phenotype can be especially strong in the superficial layer of the skin. And it means that the zombie noise comes not only from the dermis, but also from the epidermis, and they create this ugly symphony of the senescence. And finally, pigment-producing cells, melanocytes. Old senescent melanocytes, they accumulate at first the benign lesion, like navy. They create this vein association with senescent fibroblasts. They create these age-related pigment disorders like Senile Lentigo, and they contribute to the local inflammation. And they are located on the border between superficial skin layer and the deep skin layer. So they send signals to the upper skin layer, to the lower skin layer, and they are contagious for both of them. So they drive this age-related pigmentation, and they infect fibroblasts, and they infect keratinocytes with the senescence. So altogether, the senescence, the zombification, change the role from builder's barrier and balanced security pigment agent to the non-dividing, inflammatory, matrix-degrading, pigment-disturbing, collagen-destroying zombie cells. And now you probably should guess why stimulating older cells when they are entering senescence is counterproductive. And that is where this zombie metaphor becomes really useful. If the cell is truly and irreversibly senescent, so it cannot divide, and it just spread inflammation and toxins around him, you cannot turn it to the healthy, productive member of the society. No injections of hyaluronic laser or any magic potion, no laser rays or radiofrequency signal can do it. It has locked the door to the division. Forget about it. It changed the internal wiring, so it's completely different. If you watch the zombie movie, remember what happens with people who try to re-educate zombie. It doesn't work. What happens if you try to stimulate senescent cells, for example, senescent fibroblasts? They're already spreading this senescent-associated phenotype. They're secreting all these inflammation substances and toxins. So when you try to stimulate them, it works. And it pushes them to be more active, to secrete more of inflammation markers, to secrete more of toxins, to destroy more collagen instead of producing more of collagen. So you are energizing zombie rather than healing the skin. Do you want to increase the zombie population? I hope not. But interestingly, then some aesthetic intervention don't stimulate the zombie, they kill them. But the difference is that why and how you do it. For example, speaking about Senile Lentigo or some navy, that's a population of zombie cells which you can see, which you can diagnose. And if you burn Senile Lentigo with laser, if you eliminate them, you just eliminate the population of zombie and leave the place for healthily functioning cells in this area. Also, when you eliminated the zombie, they stop to produce zombie juice, inflammation markers, and different types of toxins. So it would be very useful. So when you see these local signs of aging, which are closely related, closely associated with the senescence, you should eliminate them, not because they are less aesthetic, not because the Senile Lentigo looks somehow ugly. It is not. It is normal age-related signs. But when you eliminate them, when you're using the laser or other types of energy to get rid of them, you are rejuvenating the skin because you take off the source of the zombie noise. So, ablational, laser, ablation treatment, the fractional treatments may act as some types of the controlled energy local senolytics. So they are removing senescent cells by causing them to undergo cell death. We needed them to die, and that's what we do with the energy. And it's allow healthier cells to live happier. So don't try to wake up to stimulate senescent cells. Eliminate them. It's only way to clean up the surface. It is not always possible because when they are distributed evenly into the skin, you cannot burn all the skin. But we have different types of interventions which can help to eliminate them because we have senolytical ingredients, we have senolytic nutrients and supplements. But also, the another way, it is the prevention of the senescence, because one way it is to eliminate senescent cells and to get rid of them. And another way, it's to stop senescent cells to produce toxic substances around them. First way called Senolytical, and the other way when you cannot destroy and eliminate cells themselves, but you could stop this zombie from moving and leaking this zombie juice all around them. It's called Senomorphical. So, Senolytical and Senomorphical, but not waking up. Please, don't energize zombie. So, what triggers and accelerates senescence? Where do these zombie comes from? There are several major triggers, and obviously ultraviolet plays a role, but here, for one exception, I will not start with the ultraviolet. I will start with chronological aging because the senescence, it is a part of the normal aging process. Now, all research in the active longevity shows that the senescence is one of the integrative hallmarks of aging. So, if we could somehow act on the level of primary hallmarks and antagonistic hallmarks, we can prevent senescence or delay senescence phenomenon in the skin. But from now on, it is a part of our normal aging process. So with each division, telomeres shorten up. Telomeres attrition, it is one of the primary hallmarks of aging. From the very moment you've been born, you start to age. Your telomeres start to shorten in each cell of our body. And at some point, it reaches the replicative limit, called also Hayflick limit, and they enter the senescence. So this part is probably unavoidable. We could try to delay it with different types of intervention, mostly with the lifestyle choices, but sometimes also nutrition, supplements, and so on. But we cannot avoid it. Second important trigger of the senescence, ultraviolet radiation. The ultraviolet, it is a powerful inducer of the senescence in the first place in the keratinocytes because they are most superficially located, but also in fibroblasts, dermis cells, and all types of endothelial cells and pigment cells. Why? Because the ultraviolet damages the DNA of all cell types. It brings the oxidative stress because the ultraviolet radiation causes free radicals activity in the skin. And also it activates the inflammation signaling in the skin and mitochondrial dysfunction. So less of power station, your mitochondria power stations are leaking battery, creating the inflammation signals all around them. Inflammation is activated and accumulated with free radicals caused by the ultraviolet radiation, and altogether they create the perfect condition for the senescence in skin cells. Even if the telomeres is still long enough, they can choose this route and they can reroute themselves from the healthy life to the senescence. It's some people, even young and healthy, they going on the way of addiction of substances and drugs and everything, and it simply shortens their life and change the destiny completely. It just can happen. And the ultraviolet, it's some type of the drug intoxication for your skin cells. Third and very similar trigger to the ultraviolet, oxidative stress and the air pollution. Smoking, air pollution, oxidative stress, they're all going together and they are toxic for our skin. In the air pollution, we have a lot of microparticles which can damage the skin directly, and also they create these fountains of free radicals, cascades of free radicals damaging the skin. Unfortunately, our natural antioxidant system is not powerful enough. And if in the young age, in the childhood, it is strong and it can fight free radicals successfully, with an age, we starting to lose one by one our antioxidants property because we are losing our staff members in our skin hotel. We are losing a power station, so everything works less efficiently. And so chronic oxidative stress caused by the smoking or air pollution or just an oxidation because your skin is exposed to the air and also it's exposed to the ultraviolet sun rays. They are sources of the oxidative stress in our skin. So it just damages skin cells and brings them to the senescence. Same for the chronic inflammation. The inflammation in the skin triggered by not only infections, but also repetitive injury, including aesthetic procedures, or constant skin irritation, disruption of the skin barrier caused by the air pollution, but also maybe caused by the skincare. And everything can push the neighboring cells to this senescence destiny because it's contagious bystander effect. So you see there are many triggers, and worst of all, these triggers are able to accumulate. So you can have a little bit of the ultraviolet, a little bit of aggression in the aesthetic clinic, skincare which makes your skin red and irritated. And at some point, when you live another year of your life, your telomeres are short enough and everything accumulates and your skin cells starting to retire, but not all of them will be retired successfully. And also, the part worth to mention, it is a lifestyle, because these cumulative triggers also can be sourced in your lifestyle habits. Hyperglycemia, high level of the sugar or glucose circulating in your blood, leads to the glycation in the skin. If you want to know more about the glycation, please listen to the episode about glycation. I've been speaking about it a lot. So glycation, it is the process created by the sugar which acts as a glue, gluing fibers and proteins, creating this chaotic non-functional structure into the skin deep. And also it creates inflammation because the end product of this glycation, it is a chemical reaction between sugar and proteins. This by end product, they are toxic and they are inflammatory. So it just contributes a lot to the pro-senescent environment. And as you can guess, the high level of the sugar circulating in your blood doesn't come from the blue sky. When you eat too much of sugar, you will get too much of sugar. So ultra-processed food, junk food, refined sugar, they are all bad for your skin health. They are all promoting the inflammation in your skin and they are promoting senescence. So they create this new zombie. Literally, let me put it like this. Every time when you pick candy, instead of picking apple, you transform a few of your healthy skin cells producing collagen to zombie cells, destroying collagen of your skin. So the zombies, they are not random. They are created by repeated stress, by unmanaged damage, by time, but also by your lifestyle choices, by your skincare choices, by your aesthetic treatment choices. So it just loading your skin with these zombie senescence. But it's not desperate. Now, it is very prominent domain of the research, and if you follow some biotechnological startups and biotechnological research, especially from the Silicon Valley, there are a lot of biotech companies very passionate about the biohacking. You should know that many of them, if not all of them, they are very much focused on the senescence and how to treat them. They are all fighting zombie apocalypse, not only in the skin, in the body as well. So that's the fun part. How can we fight zombie apocalypse? As I mentioned previously, there are two ways. Senolytical ways, when we try to remove zombie cells, when we try to make them kill themselves, or we are using something which destroys them. And another way, a little bit gentler, called Senomorphic, when we are not trying to eliminate cells themselves, but we are trying to make them quiet. And we are trying just to stop them from moving and leaking and infect other cells and spread this contagious zombie juice all around them. So, first of all, to Senolytics. Senolytics is literally the new class of drugs, which probably we will see in pharmacies in the very near future. They are able to selectively eliminate senescent cells from our body. So, it sounds good, but senescent cells, they have this survival pathway. If you watch the zombie movie, you know how difficult it is to kill zombie. They are able to resist the apoptosis. They are able to survive this death. They're already not very much alive, so it's easier for them. So the senolytic drugs, they are interfering not with cells themselves, but also with their survival pathways. In the first place, they're making senescent cells sensitive again to their own death signals, so they can finally undergo their destiny. They can finally see the way of the apoptosis and be cleared. And there are a lot of research, mostly in mice, but also in other mammals, with different types of pharmacological senolytics, which clear senescent cells, improve health span of the animals, and delay all age-related pathology. That's why it's so important, because these senolytic drugs, very probably, they can open us the way to delay Alzheimer's disease or avoid Alzheimer's disease. Also to avoid or treat more successfully different age-related cancers and other geriatrics pathology. So, biohackers are very much excited about them because theoretically it can help us to live much longer and to live much better. Not only to live until 120 or 150 years, but to stay active until 150. Because what's the point to live until 150 if you are weak, fragile for the half of this life? What are common senolyticals which have enough of scientific evidence of their efficiency and relative safety? They are Dasatinib, Rapamycin, Quercetin, and also Fisetin. And they are quite popular. And actually, Quercetin and Fisetin probably they will be my favorite because they are safe, more or less, at least as we can say now, and they're very natural. Quercetin you find in the onions. Onions, it is active longevity food, especially red onions, which is very rich in quercetin, and also shallots, small onions. Also, you can find quercetin in the kale, in the broccoli, a lot of quercetin it is in asparagus, red apples. That's why I say every time when you choose candy instead of choosing red apples, you choose senescent cells. But if you choose red apple, you choose longevity. Also, red berries and literally every red fruits, they have some amount of quercetin inside. Tomatoes, red grapes, all types of tea, green and black, and red wine. Good news for everyone who loves a glass of the red wine. And Fisetin is also can be found in the food, similar to Quercetin by the mechanism of action. There are a lot of Fisetin in apples, especially in red apples, but also grapes, onion, cucumbers, kiwi, peaches, persimmons. But the best product for longevity, if you relate to Fisetin, it is strawberry. Strawberry is extremely rich in Fisetin. So just think about it, because if you eat one of few of these products, and they are all fresh fruits and vegetables, every day of your life, you are already on the active longevity pathway. You are already preventing the senescence of your cells. And extract of all these fruits and vegetables can be used in the skincare and acting topically. Quercetin and Fisetin, they are showing very promising results. Also, some senolytical action can be done with modality, with energy-assisted devices. As I mentioned previously, when you are using the laser or radiofrequency to act as a physical senolytics in the dermis, when you are eliminating senile lentigo or other formation of senescent cells from the skin, you're not only intervening aesthetically, you're also intervening in the pathway of the active longevity, because it is the senolytical intervention. If you could eliminate senescent cells, you should do it. If you can do it with laser, amazing. If you cannot, we are using topical ingredients and the ingredients which are like an attrition and supplement, and very probably drugs in some next future. Biohacking is focusing on the senolytical approach because it's kind of root cause intervention. You take off senescent cells and you take off these zombies which create this noise, which are intoxicating the whole press, so you can healthify the whole cells population. But you should remember that it's not only about senolytical effect, because yes, it is great when you could eliminate them, but it is even better if you could prevent this formation as much as you can. Yes, we cannot interact with telomeres, not now, but we could prevent inflammation, we could prevent oxidative stress, we could protect the skin cells from the ultraviolet damage, we could more or less protect it from the air pollution, and also healthy food, lifestyle habits, healthy sleep. Sleep, it is senolytical mechanism, because during the nighttime, our body is trying, and sometimes it's successfully eliminating senescent cells. So you should sleep better, you should sleep more. And also the physical activity, because the physical activity itself, maybe it's not very senolytical, but it's definitely senomorphical. So it just stops the senescent cells from their zombie activity, but also sedentary lifestyle. It is very pro-senescent pathway. Lack of the physical activity leads to the formation of zombie cells, not only in your skin, but in the whole your body. So how we slow the creation of zombie? Non-negotiable ultraviolet protection. Not only sunscreens, but also clothing, the intelligent approach to your behavior, because the ultraviolet is one of the most prominent extrinsic drivers of the senescence in your body. Antioxidant, which you should use on the daily basis in your skincare. I absolutely insist on it. I really believe that you should add antioxidant skincare product in your daily skincare routine in your early 30s, especially if you live in the big city and if you're exposed to the air pollution, stress, and the ultraviolet. And at latest in the late 30s, you should do it. Never too late, obviously, but better to do it earlier. And health lifestyle, regular movement, physical activity, balanced diet, rich in antioxidant, rich in quercetin, rich in Fisetin, healthy, nice sleep, stress management, because cortisol is pro-inflammatory hormone. Hormone of stress is also leading to the inflammation. It all reduces systemic pro-senescent signals. It's all reducing all drivers of zombie apocalypse. Also, we support the clearance and we support the replacement. So if you need to eliminate some elements on your skin which can be linked to the senescent cells, like Senile or Lentigo, please do it. Also, it's always good to use a specific skincare which prevent your skin cells from the senescence. There are new peptides. It is a spermidine. Also, it is anti-inflammatory. It helps to prevent your stem cells from exhaustion. Polyphenols, resveratrol, niacinamide. Niacinamide and resveratrol, they are upregulating genes of sirtuins genes. And sirtuins, they are very much involved into the anti-senescent protection of the skin. So they help you to maintain better daily quality control and delay senescence and help to get rid of this retired zombie from your skin. And another thing, it's not only what to do, but also what to not do. And be very careful with the stimulation and with some types of aggression leading to the overstimulation. Every time when you are hearing some offer of let's stimulate your skin cells, let's boost your collagen production, you should understand that if you have the zombie cells on your skin, boost collagen production would mean boost collagen destruction for you. Don't wake up your zombie. They can be waked up with aggressive chemical pills, with repetitive aesthetic treatments leading to the inflammation, with irritants and inflammation of the skin, which simply increases these SASP secretory senescence phenotypes and everything what increases the inflammation in the skin, activating zombie. That's as simple as this. So longevity approach asks, are you feeding the healthy staff of your hotel? Are you helping to retire your zombie cells quietly? Or you are making your zombie angry? So I really want you to think twice before undergoing any of stimulation treatments. So rules are simple. Don't create unnecessary zombies. Protect, nourish, repair your skin. Don't try to overstimulate it. Encourage the safe removal when it is possible. It could be senolytical skincare, but also there can be senolytical procedures. So if something should be eliminated, eliminate it. And support the remaining healthy cells with gentle, good quality, biohacking, active longevity skincare. So can we fight the zombie apocalypse in the skin? Sometimes the best fight is not in fighting, it is in the diplomacy. So not other harsh pill, not other burning or other irritation for your skin, not a miracle overnight serum or the cream. But you should understand senescence. You should understand the zombie phenomenon. Once our retired cells protected us, helped us, and they are retiring because they are protecting us from the cancer. But in the excess, they can drive aging, they can drive the inflammation, discomfort, pigments problem, wrinkles formation in our skin. So we can slow the arrival of zombie, and we could slow down this zombie apocalypse if we cannot stop it completely. But we have this new emerging senolytical and senomorphic strategy, and very probably in the upcoming few years, we will get even more efficient, innovative skincare and skin treatment, and very probably something which can really prolong the human life and help us to stay active and happy and healthy for longer. So in the active longevity skincare, we are not forcing old cells to behave like young. It is impossible. That's why there are no 60 years old Olympic athletes, because that's the right time for everything in our life. So we just keeping your skin hotel well staffed with capable, calm, regular workers, not gossiping zombies. And if you have some questions about senolytical treatment, about the skincare, about zombie apocalypse in your skin, please leave a comment. I will love it. I will like to answer it. And in the upcoming episodes, I will speak more about active longevity. So stay tuned. And please share, tell your friends about the Skin We Live In podcast. Thank you for joining us today on the Matter Beauty podcast. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an expert skincare tip. Have a question or topic you'd like for me to cover? Send me a message at podcast@matterbeauty.com and let's keep the conversation going. Also, you can visit matterbeauty.com and discover Matter Skincare, which I created. And if you enjoyed the show, I'd love if you left a review. It helps others find the podcast and keeps us growing. Until next time, stay healthy, stay glowing, and take care of your skin.